Alright, so we're going to finish up factoring, but with formulas. So this one you should have a worksheet for, so you don't have to copy all, but just fill in the notes. So go ahead and pause for just a second and fill in what you see right now. Okay, so you filled in, so I'm going to kind of talk about what you see here. What you see is a binomial again. It has only two terms, but they're cubes. So if you notice that they're perfect cubes, then you're going to use these formulas. And here's the two formulas. Now, you don't have to memorize any of the formulas that I gave you on the last video or this video because they are on the formula charts. You just have to understand how they work. Now, the way they work is this SOAP kind of thing. You keep the same sign the first time. So it was positive, positive. But then the second one is opposite. And then this one's always positive. So if you notice, the last one's always positive. But the first one is always the same. And the middle is always opposite. So that's the SOAP thing. So here's your steps. You're going to find the GCF, just like before. Make sure there's no GCF. Find the cube root. So instead of squaring and square roots, we got cubes. So we got to figure out something that multiplies 3 times, which makes it a little more difficult. Once you figure that out, then you're able to, and whoops, I finished putting my O, then you can figure out what A and B are. Okay, and then you check your work by multiplying. So I'm going to scroll down. In this first example, you have 64a cubed plus 1. Is there a GCF? Well, no, there's no GCF here, except, of course, there is 1, but 1's not going to make a difference. So I need to break this up into something that's being multiplied 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And then I got to break this one up, same thing, something that's multiplied 3 times. Now, this one's a little easier, because 1 is just 1 times 1 times 1. But 64a cubed, well, I know a cubed is a times a times a. But 64 is something you're going to have to play with. And some of you might actually know it's going to be 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. That's the part that you're going to have to kind of just play around with. Now, to fill in, you're going to use the formulas. Now, depending on which one, this one's plus. So you're going to use the formula with the plus. Or you can do it this way. In the first parentheses, you take one of each. So 4a, and then keep it the same. So plus, and then this one goes here. So plus 1. So you take one of each. Now, for the second parentheses, I'm going to multiply 4a times 4a, which is 16a squared. And on the back, I'm going to multiply 1 times 1, which is 1. But the middle, I'm going to multiply the middle, which is 4a times 1, which is 4a. Now the signs, same, switch it, always positive. So we just did the formula. So again, what I did here was I took one of each for my first parentheses. The second parentheses, I took the next two together and multiplied them and got 16a squared. The last two, and then the middle two. So the next two, the middle, and the last. And I multiplied them together to fill in. The signs was the SOAP. Same, so plus, opposite, and then always positive. So I'm going to try it with this one. Same kind of idea. First, I make sure there's no GCF here. So 343m cubed minus 64n squared. There is no GCF. So you got to figure out what times what times what is 343m cubed, and then what times what times what is n to the 6. Now the m is pretty easy. It's going to be m times m times m. But now 343, you're just going to have to play with some numbers. Now this is obviously bigger than 4. So you try 5, 6, 7, so on, until you get the answer. And it actually ends up being 7 times 7 times 7. And while this one is kind of what we just did, it's going to be 4 times 4 times 4. But for the letters, I need to take 6 and put it evenly into 3 spots. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So each one is going to be n2, n2, and n2, because 2 plus 2 plus 2 will give me back to the 6. Because remember, when you multiply letters, you add the exponents. Alright, so now, for the first box, or for the first parenthesis, sorry, I take one of each. So 7m and 4n squared. Now the sign, SOAP, stays the same. So the sign is minus, so I'm going to use a minus. Second box, or sorry, second parentheses, I take the next 2. So 7m times 7m is 49m squared. Then I take the last 2, put it in the last spot. 4n squared times 4n squared will be 16n to the 4th. And then in the middle, I literally take the middle 2. 7m times 4n squared will be 28m n squared. Now I've got to finish my signs. Same, opposite, always positive. So, same, opposite, always positive. Okay, now the formula says this as well. So if you notice, we had a minus cube. The formula has the correct signs already. But here's what it says. It says a and b. So a was 7m, b was 4n squared. And then a squared, we squared it. 7 times 7 is 49, m times 7 is m squared. Then we had to multiply the 2, which we did. And then you have to square the last one, which we did. We did 4 times 4 is 16, n squared times n squared is 4 and 4. So that's how your formula works. All right, so good luck. Now you're working on the white worksheet that has 2 sides to it. One side is grouping, the other side is going to use the formulas. Okay,